What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, let me say something before I go forward in this particular video. I've had somebody who I blocked about a week and a half ago accuse me of basically trying to cater to Kamala Harris and Donald Trump fans to improve my channel, my brand, and to, I guess, show up more in the algorithm or whatever the crap it was talking about. And anybody that's been subscribed to me for any length of time know that I talk about politics. I've been talking about politics since I started this channel. As a matter of fact, I talked about politics more than I did sports on my original channel going back to 2011. So every time around, if you look at my videos, my old videos, if you go back to election years, I'm always talking politics. This is the thing. Do I consciously try to be balanced, like with criticism of Harris and Trump? Yeah. Not because of some agenda or some hidden agenda. I tell you, I try to be fair. I'm not a supporter of any one of these people, but I'm careful about not making my channel a safe haven for Harris supporters or Trump supporters. And also, I think that it's important, in my opinion at least, for people who are Kamala Harris supporters and people who are Trump supporters to hear opposing viewpoints. Because I think it's dangerous to only listen to content you agree with. It sets in a cult mind state. Even if you don't agree with somebody, it's important to listen to other people's opinions, because sometimes you can learn something from it and can actually make you rethink certain prior positions that you felt you were certain about. And it can expose you to new information. But anyway, so I've been hearing all of this just everywhere I look on YouTube now. I keep seeing this same mantra chanted, by Democratic supporters, Kamala Harris supporters, and people who I suspected are paid Democratic shields. Kamala is surging. She's surging. You know, the polls show she's surging. Damn. She's been surging so much, you would think she'd be up by 25 points nationally. You think it's be up there with the Reagan landslide, the LBJ landslide, the FDR landslide, the Nixon landslide. You think it should be winning at least 40-some states. But from what I can see, at best, she's moved about a point or two. Meanwhile, Trump has moved up a little bit. And I'll tell you why I say he's moved up a little bit. Remember, when Biden dropped out, and this is something I think some of the polling is missing. Remember when Biden dropped out, Trump and Biden were generally in the high 30s or low 40s in polling. Remember I was telling you there were a lot of undecideds in these polls? There are a lot of people who claim they were undecided. Like I'm just going to throw a number, for example. There would have been a poll that showed Biden at 40%, Trump at 44%, and the rest were undecided. Or it'd be a poll when RFK was in the race, Biden 37, Trump 41, RFK 5, and the rest undecided. But I've noticed while Kamala is usually between 47 and 51, true. Trump is usually between 46 and 48. So he's made gains. And as I said before, the Democrats are always going to be at an advantage numerically because of two states, really, at this point. And to a certain extent, three states. California, which, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020, I think Californians, I think it was 18 million people voted in California in 2020. That's a lot of votes. And if Biden is getting 11 of the 18 million and winning by a 5 million margin, well, that's 71% of his 7 million vote national margin there. Then in New York, he wins by almost 2 million votes. So that's most of his national margin there. Outside of those states, it's a neck and neck race nationally. See how it works? That's why I say these national polls don't really mean much. It's a state by state race. But having said that, I want to focus on something in this video. Now, of course, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. If Kamala Harris wins, black women are going to get credit for that. They're going to get credit for that. If she loses, you know who's going to be blamed. Men that look like me. Right? Now, there's something, I just seen a new Quinnipiac poll that came out either late Wednesday or early Thursday. But I seen this poll. And it shows something. I want you to pay attention here. It still shows Trump pulling about 20% of the black vote. Now, I know some people don't believe in polling, and I do agree that the only poll that really matters is election day poll. But and another thing, too, that can offset this polling is the ground game, the get out the vote effort. If you ask somebody who they're going to vote for, and they're actually likely voters, sure, you can get an assessment, a rough estimate, or a trend. But if these guys don't go out and vote on election day, well, then there you go. That's why there's 400,000 foot soldiers right now in Georgia trying to get people out to vote for Harris, because the ground game is what's going to be important. And in all these last two election cycles, Trump has outworked his campaign. His supporters have been more intent and more and pushed to go out and vote on election day than the Democratic campaigns. But anyway, I'm looking at Latinos, right? And I see something that should concern Democrats. And they're not talking about it. Look, in 2008, when Obama was elected president over McCain, Obama got 67% of Hispanics versus 31% for McCain. That was a stunning turnaround from 2004, when Bush, who had got 31% of Hispanics in 2000, got 44%. Because remember, if you look at Fox News 20 years ago, all of a sudden they were pro-immigration. See, it's funny. After the 2004 election, when they saw this stunning increase in Hispanics, I remember they were pro-immigration. Well, this is a country that is a beacon of freedom, and I believe that Hispanics, Mexicans, they should be able to come here and make a life for themselves. That's my position. Then when they saw Obama got 67% of the Hispanic vote and how bigoted they are, and they just attached it to the immigration issue, all of a sudden Republicans did an about face. Well, look, if you're not American, you don't belong here. You don't belong here. It's all about votes, man. 2012, Obama beat Romney. He did even better with Hispanics. He got 71% of the vote of Hispanics, according to the data. Romney got 27%. Remember, that's the election where, despite a historic black turnout, the media gave all the credit for Obama's reelection to Hispanics. In 2016, when Hillary Clinton lost to Trump, she did worse with Hispanics. She did worse than Obama ever did. She got 65% of Hispanic voters. Trump got 27%. So there was a decline, right? In 2020, Biden beat Trump because he did better with every other group except for Black Americans, which was a negligible drop. But with Hispanics, troubled by some of the wedge issues that Democrats are for, because Hispanics are generally conservative. They're also much more elastic, I would say, and more easily persuadable to vote for another party. They're not as indoctrinated in the Democratic Party as we've become. In 2020, Biden got 61% of Hispanic voters, Trump 31%. So there's been a slow decline. Now, of course, we haven't had an election yet, right? But according to the most recent poll, Kamala Harris nationally, the most recent one, there's going to be fluctuations, but she had a 19-point lead with Hispanics, 56% to 37% for Trump. So what are you seeing? You're seeing a steady erosion of Democratic support for the Hispanic community. Now, that's going to be very important, say, in a state like Arizona. Now, the last time I saw, Harris had a 25-point lead with Hispanics in Arizona. But if I'm not mistaken, Hillary and Barack, they had something like a 40-point lead in that state with Hispanics, in that particular state, because Hispanics are different groups and different voting patterns, different cultures. That's another reason that the Democrats won't tell you the left liberal media. This is why they won't tell you that Florida has moved from a swing state to lean Republican to starting the trend to be, at least on the national level or state election level, starting to become almost a safe Republican state. Texas. A lot of Latinos live in Texas. Now, a Democrat has not won the state of Texas in the presidential election since Jimmy Carter in 1976. And even then, he underperformed. That's not, now there have been some changes, but this should trouble people. And when you look into account, when you take into account the fact that Hispanics are the largest minority group in this country, and there's a steady erosion in that group, when you look at the fact that with us, African Americans, Trump is still consistently polling about 18 to 22% of the vote. When you look at the fact that while there is a growing gender divide, and Trump is in trouble with women, in particular white women, if he's going to lose, it's because of historic Black female turnout and his erosion with white women. And I saw some data that showed that there's been a surge in the registration of young people, young women, and Black women. So that should trouble the Trump campaign. So I'm not saying that Trump is going to win by some landslide. I'm just saying he could still win. But what should concern the Democrats is that there is also a huge gender divide when it comes to males. Trump might be losing women by 18 points last time I checked, but he in the last poll I saw, he has something like almost a 20-point lead with men. So the Democrats, not only are they eroding support with Hispanics, to a certain extent with Black voters, and they keep ridiculing Black men. Like they're not listening to, they keep making the same mistake. They keep trying to use these coon-ass sellout Black surrogates and shillers to try to browbeat us. They're not even listening to our issues. They're not even making an attempt to appear like they listen to our issues. They're trying to ridicule us. And all it's going to do is motivate some Black people who don't even particularly like Trump to go out and vote for him out of spite as a protest. But they don't respect Black people. And this is what possibly is going to lead to her demise as a candidate for as far as winning. So they're already making erosions with those groups and then with men. And, when you look at the national polling too, at this time in 2016, Hillary had a 6-point lead over Trump and lost. At this time 4 years ago, Biden had a 7-point lead, which ended up being less than a little bit more than what he won by. But Biden was able to still win electoral college victory. Harris is only up by 3 to 4, maybe 2 points. So she's underperforming at this time relative to the other election cycles. And as we all know, Trump has a history of overperforming on election night because some of his supporters, fearing ridicule, sometimes tell the pollsters they're undecided most of the time. And or sometimes they're just missed. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is this Kamala is surging crap is crap. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it.